Welcome to the Tits Up podcast with Coley Arnold, the unapologetic space for women in the thick of it. You know, the messy middle where you're too far in to quit, but the finish line feels like a mirage. Where the pressure is high, the stakes are real, and every win feels hard-earned. This isn't a highlight reel. This is the unfiltered truth about building a business, holding your life together, and finding your fire when it would be easier to burn it all down. If you're tired of fake perfection and ready for the real, raw conversations that make you feel seen and lit up, then grab your coffee, your courage, and let's do this. Shoulders back, head high, tits up, girlfriend. Are you building a business that might look good on paper but still feels lonely, messy, or unclear behind the scenes? You don't have to figure it all out alone. The Foundress is a community for female founders who are ready to scale with clarity, connection, and purpose. Whether you're making your first 6 figures or scaling towards 7, we're the place where your ambition is seen, your ideas are sharpened, and your success is celebrated. Inside, you'll find strategy, deep support, and a powerful circle of women who get it. Because at Foundress, we don't just network, we grow together. If you're craving more than just another business group, if you're ready for mentorship, momentum, and women who speak your language, come join us. Your seat at the table is waiting. Head to foundress.co to learn more. Today's guest is the definition of multi-passionate, and she has built not one, but 2 thriving businesses by embracing both sides of her brilliance. She's a jewelry maker with a keen eye for design and a marketing agency owner who knows how to turn strategy into results. In this episode, we dive deep into what it takes to balance creativity and business, how to market as a maker in a noisy online world, and the mindset shifts that helped her go from side hustle to CEO. Whether you're building a product, a service, or both, this conversation is packed with insight and inspiration and the kind of real talk that every entrepreneur needs. Let's dive in. I am here with Taylor. I'm so excited to dive into this conversation with you. She is the mastermind behind 2 businesses, and we are going to talk about juggling. We're going to talk about your favorite things and so much more. So I'm going to dive in. You wear 2 very different hats.
Very different.
A creative jewelry maker and a marketing strategist. How do you balance the art and then analytics in the day-to-day?
It's funny because the art is something that definitely comes naturally to me. I'm a very creative person. And so the business side of actually both sides of the business is definitely a learned trait. I'm dyslexic and ADHD and
I think all of us are a little bit.
I literally think that is like a true trait of an entrepreneur. Yeah. I read a stat the other day that said 75% of entrepreneurs are dyslexic. And I'm like, it kind of makes sense because I feel like you have to work so much harder in grade school and college in order to get normal grades. And so you kind of just move at a faster pace of life. But the analytical side, it was a really fun challenge for me with having the marketing agency. And obviously there's still creative that goes into that. But at the core of a marketing agency, people aren't going to pay you and they don't really care if they're not getting results. Right. So like knowing the numbers, knowing when to pivot, you're dealing with people's money when they're spending these big ad budgets is a really delicate balance. Yeah. But I had the marketing agency first. Technically, I went to school for metalworking, and then I owned a digital marketing agency started the digital marketing agency after that. But all of those learnings really lent itself back to the jewelry business. Yeah. And, I would say any true creative entrepreneur, really maybe 20% of what we do is the creative side and 80% is the
Which
business.
Is such a bummer, right?
Such a bummer. I'm like, I just want to sit there and color and play with Shane all day.
Totally.
But that's not how you run a successful business, literally. So
that's why we're here, though. We're going to talk all about it.
Yeah. That's why we're here. And so I would say probably 80% of my time is consumed by the jewelry business. And then the marketing agency, I still do kind of more on the consulting side. Yeah. It keeps my brain fresh. It keeps me playing with big numbers that like the jewelry business just can't afford to spend $100,000 a year on ads. But I've got clients that can not yet. But I've got clients that can. So it just keeps me sharp and in the game still.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you've always had like the creative bent to your desires. You went to school, like you said, for metalworking, but you also had a store in college, right?
I did. Yes. Yeah. I kind of joke that my dad truly believes that I was like born to be an entrepreneur. I was the kid that always had the lemonade stands. I was trying to sell gum on the streets of Mexico, like anything that I could do to have my own money. And so in college, I actually went to school for art history. And being dyslexic, I could not remember dates to save my life. And it's like, this is not what I meant to do. Yes. But you had to take a prereq of a 3D art class in order to move on. So my freshman year, I took a metals class. and I fell in love with my professor.
Interesting.
But then at the time,
wait, like really, or
no, it was a woman, which that's fine too. But
I was like, wait,
she was just really cool, such a badass, and
Love
she really, I was like, I think I kind of want to do this metals thing.
Yeah.
And at the time, my sister, who's 10 years older than me, she was always like, I feel like you and I should do a boutique, maybe after you graduate, whatever. And it was the same day. I remember calling my dad being like, hey, this is what I'm going to do for school. And he was like, just do it well.
Yeah.
And get your piece of paper. And I was walking past this, it used to be a mailroom on ASU's campus. And I was like, this could be a really good boutique. I had I think there's a level of naivety that comes with business that it's a blessing. Yeah. And I called the
Otherwise,
number.
no one would start a business.
No one would start. I called the number that was on the, piece of paper on the for lease sign. And was like, kind of just BS my way through it. And we came to my dad with a business plan. We said, we want to start this and we want to start it, whatever, in 6 months. It was the end of my freshman year.
Okay.
And he gave us the money to start the business and was like, we gave him our business plan. We told him how we were going to pay him back. And so my sister and I spent that entire summer going into my sophomore year of college prepping a boutique on campus that we had no idea how to run and no idea how to buy clothing and how to source. But we asked a lot of really great questions and we had some good people in our corner that kind of led us, in the right direction. And it was an awesome learning opportunity.
That's amazing. And did you pay your dad back?
We did.
Good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Good job. I feel like that's the ultimate, like, one day.
That's it, right? Exactly.
Take it out of my hands.
Literally, yes, exactly.
I love it. Okay. So you probably learned a ton while building that has applied to your jewelry business.
Absolutely.
What is one of the biggest surprises going into owning your own jewelry business that you maybe you didn't know, or it could be good or bad. Something that really surprised you in this business ownership of this jewelry business.
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing is how expensive it is. When we had the boutique, it was like pre-Shopify and really we worked with our biggest influencer that we thought was the biggest deal, had 8,000 followers on Instagram at the time. And so when you had the boutique, it was just we had the foot traffic, we were making good money, but we were just trying to sustain that one space. And then in the service-based industry, it's your overhead's actually really low. At least for me, it is because I'm the only employee.
Right.
And so, you make whatever, 20 grand one month and you get to keep 18,000 of that versus in the jewelry space when you're trying to grow and you've got all these different facets, the amount of cash it takes is truly mind-blowing. I mean, we've done almost $1 million in sales and I pay myself $500 a month. That's just how it is. Right. And the cash flow cycles are gnarly. Money gives me anxiety. I think it does for most people. And it truly blows my, but my husband always tells me, he's like, you're prepping for tomorrow, which is you're trying to grow and scale and you're paying for all that product with today's dollars. And of course it's going to be expensive.
Right.
So that's been a huge learning curve and a big anxiety and hurdle to get over of what's normal, because people don't talk about how expensive it is. And luckily I've got some amazing women that I found and founders that I can put in my corner and have those real conversations with, but it is so expensive.
It's so expensive.
Yeah.
I think that's such a good point. And you spoke about, this maybe a year ago now, about debt.
Yes.
And it has such a bad rap. But in business, sometimes it's so vital.
It is.
Whether you need the advance to buy product or whether for a service-based business, there's a lot of expenses that are unseen.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to upfront a lot of money, advertising money. I mean, there's so many things that go into building a business and scaling a business.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that and how you kind of I also want to talk about your family meetings because I think it plays so good into this. And there's so many entrepreneurs that they go into it because they have a passion. They want to change something. They want to change their industry. They want to help people, and they have no idea how to balance a budget. They have no idea about debt. Everything they've been taught is that it's so bad.
Right.
And then you feel guilty, and then you're like, well, I'm failing because I have debt.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the debt, and then I want to talk about your family meetings a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the more I learned and the more studies I did on other businesses, the better I felt about taking on debt. Yeah. Really, it's really hard to be a product-based business and be profitable within your first 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
We are just starting to hit our profitability stride, and we have been in business for 3.5 years. And I think this last quarter was the first quarter we were ever profitable.
Wow.
But Amazon, for example, wasn't profitable for their first 7 years. Yeah. And so the only way that you I mean, you have to bring on debt. So I tell people, you'll max out a credit card, you'll take out a loan, you have to find ways to be creative. Or do both, exactly. But I think that there's like a big hype culture around right now of raising capital and raising money and fundraising, which is all great for the right people.
Yeah.
But I really try to caution people against it, because then you're starting to answer to somebody again, right?
Well, you bring on a part. It's like a marriage, right?
Yes, exactly. And so we were really intentional about, knowing that we wanted to grow the business and own 100% of the business, and that comes along with taking on debt. And the number, again, money gives me anxiety. So it's like something that we've really had to work through. Now we've got our Archer Family Finance meetings that we have every Tuesday.
Which makes me laugh, because your husband
works in finance.
Yes.
So
this has probably been a journey for him.
For sure,
to bring you along, right?
Literally, yeah. He's used to managing everything on his own. And I'm like, I don't want to do any of it, but I need to see it all.
Yeah, I need to understand it.
Yes,
right?
exactly. But the word that we use in our house is intentionality. Like if we are, whatever, we go to these wholesale shows and they cost me $15,000 when it's all said and done to go to. But it's intentional. The worst thing you can do is be 3-4 years into your business and look back and be like, shit, I'm $60,000 in debt and I don't know how I got here. We know exactly where every dollar is going. We're super intentional. We have the budgets. And sometimes you just maybe we can't drop a collection that we want to that month, or whatever, or I have to work the showroom an extra, whatever, a couple weekends a month, so that, we can keep things, kosher and where they're at. But it's definitely a struggle.
So tell us a little bit about these family Archer meetings, because I love this idea, and especially women. I think there is I don't know. It's a stigma that we aren't good at with money. Right. We don't know how to manage finances. Yeah. A lot of us don't love it.
Right.
It's not our favorite.
Yeah.
But it's also so necessary. And so being in the know and knowledgeable, even if you don't do it, you can delegate it out.
Yes.
But you also have to understand it. Right.
Absolutely.
There is a level of you have to have your hands in it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if you fully delegate it, you're setting yourselves up for theft and just misuse of money.
Yeah.
You just never know.
You
need to have a pulse on what's happening in your business.
Exactly.
So tell us about your meetings.
Yeah. So every Tuesday, my husband and I meet for an hour during the day. It's at 1 o'clock. We meet from 1 to 2, and we're in the same house but on different floors in both of our own offices on Zoom, so we can share screens. And
love it.
And we really treat it like it's just as important for us as him meeting with a client, me meeting with a wholesale manufacturer. It's like a non-negotiable for us every week. We spend the first 20 minutes talking about personal finances, like savings goals, looking at our investments, if we've got whatever. We just, are redoing his office right now. So budgeting that.
Is this the Budweiser office?
That we have a Budweiser room. It's kind of like a loft, but we just redid his. He just got a promotion, and so I was like, we need to elevate your office to
my husband heard about your Budweiser room. He's
Budweiser
very jealous.
It's really cool. We're actually, that's our next thing that we're gonna rejudge, because I'm like, we need to spend more time up here.
That's amazing.
And then after that, it's all Rad Rae stuff. So he, thank God, works in finance. He does nonprofit finance consulting. Okay. And so he's built us these crazy dashboards that are really simple for me to go in and plug in and hold me accountable. But yeah, we look at things like debt. We look at ways to get creative with our finances. We look at upcoming spending. We do forecasting. And the biggest thing for me was, obviously we have this business that he does help me run. He still does all the finances, but I'm 90, he's 10% of the workload. And I'm like, I just need permission for you to be like, yes, you can spend this. Yeah. So, we know that we've got a new collection that's going to launch in September. Like, how much money can I actually spend for that? And it just gives me a little bit of a reprieve, being like, we've actually got data and facts and numbers.
You're not just swiping the card.
Literally
and,
being like,
I
hope he's okay with this. Yeah. But he's like, no, I just, for me, I just needed that permission to be like, yes, we can spend money on this. Yes, we can spend money on this. Oh, we've got some extra wiggle room here.
Yeah.
And also, I'm a true believer in that you don't know your numbers if you don't look at them every day. Mm-hmm. Like, we had some stuff going on earlier in the month, and I just wasn't looking at our numbers as constantly as I should have been. And we're not going to hit goal for this month, which is fine. Yeah. But also, I know if I was intentional and actually looked at them, that's where the creativeness comes in. You're like, I need to get creative, whether we're having a sale, an in-person event, a new collection that we're going to drop, something, so that we can hit those goals and numbers. So we look at them every week.
Yeah.
Every week.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I love that. We've been implementing a family meeting time, because I it's less finances, but I'm like, as a busy entrepreneur, there's things, especially when you're working with your husband, which I am not, but he is very involved and founderous. And, but I'm like, I think there's some things I like, I know I need to tell you and I'm going to forget. And so I pick the most inopportune times to like blurt it out.
Yes.
And he's like, I think we need like a specific meeting day where we can have, he's like in the shower and I'm like, did you do this? Did you call this person? And he's like, can I wash my hair?
Yes.
Like, leave me alone, lady.
Even just to align schedules. Like
totally.
Yes, absolutely.
It's so hard.
So hard.
Okay. So what lessons from building a product-based business have shaped the way you now serve your clients through your agency?
Oh my gosh.
Because they're so different.
They're really different. Honestly, I would say it's probably the reverse.
Okay.
The way that I have had to show up for clients in the digital space has really lent its hand into how I treat customers on the jewelry side too, because on the digital marketing side, you have clients that are spending a bigger ticket item, right? Whether it's $1,000 a month, it's, when I was doing it more full time, we had some clients on retainer that were like $5,000, $6,000 a month. Oh. And you had the level of care and customer service and attentiveness you had to give them so that they felt valued and it was a good exchange and all of that stuff. We really have brought that over to the way that we treat our customers on the Rad Rae side too. We've got like if something is broken, no questions asked. We've got like the sister rule. If, somebody comes in, they're like, hey, I bought this 2 years ago and I lost whatever on it. No problem. We'll fix that for you. Or we write handwritten letters to some of our best customers. It's like something that we do every week. And I sit there and I handwrite letters and put them in the mail so that they're like old school snail mail. Yeah. Because that level of attentiveness we had to give to our, our big ticket customers, I feel like they still need to feel that whether they're spending $13 with us or $1,300. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I know your price points are really, really good.
Yeah.
They're really low. They're really attainable.
Yeah.
I know that's something that's very important to you.
Yeah.
How hard is it when you're looking at the bottom line and you're looking at the budgets and you're saying, we're made $1 million and I'm paying myself $500.
Right.
It's got to be tempting to raise those prices.
Yes.
Talk to me about why it's so important for you to keep those prices at that level.
Yeah.
And then what your goals are to kind of increase profitability while maintaining that value.
Totally. Yeah. So accessibility is a huge part of our core values. I want women and men to be able to afford really high quality, unique, bold jewelry. And at the end of the day, it's funny because I look at the thing that I always come back to, the jewelry industry is really skewed.
Yeah.
And the amount of markup truly feels like just does not sit well with me that normal jewelry brands do, right? It can be hundreds of percents. And I'm like, if something costs me $5 to make, there's no way I am going to charge whatever, $250 for it, which is very real in some cases. Yeah. And so I'm like, as long as we can, still keep our prices affordable and, scale and grow and it's also the way that I like to shop. Like I am somebody who I have a tendency to get sick of things fast and there's new trends and things that, new fun things to buy. And I want somebody to walk into our store and be able to afford, really anything. It's very rare that we have something over $50. Right. But on the flip side, we don't have sales. We run 2 sales a year. And we rarely put stuff on sale because we're just selling through what we have. And so I call it the Macy's effect where Macy's always has sales. They're always putting stuff on sale. And so if you find something you're like, I'm going to wait a couple weeks because that's going to go on sale soon. Yeah. And our customer knows that ours doesn't. So,
and that also helps limited quantities.
Limited quantities. Yes. Yeah.
So it's like, if you love it, get it. And it's $24.
Exactly.
So you can, right?
So you can. And buy one for your friend.
Yeah, totally. And you also have a Jewelry of the Month Club or Earring of the Month Club, which I love. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So I knew I wanted some sort of subscription model because I get asked all the time, people being like, what's your favorite thing? What's selling best? What's whatever? And I'm like, let me just do it for you. Yeah. So it's $25 a month. And all the earrings that you get in there, we normally put in the collection after, and they range between $35 and $40 that they actually end up being. But we've got a simple statement and surprise me. Most of our customers are in the surprise me category, which is nice because then they get, something bold that pushes them out their comfort zone, something that's like, oh my gosh, I'd wear this all the time. Yeah. And kind of everything in between. And just an automatic thing that gets shipped to your door on the 5th of every month, then
That's awesome.
It's great. It's so much fun.
Well, it's so fun because I have a pair of your earrings that I never take off.
Yeah.
I sleep in them. I shower in them. Yeah. They're in great shape still. And so today I was getting ready for the podcast and I was like, oh, I'm going to put like a little bit bolder on.
Yes.
So I put like my bigger hoops that I am like, but I love the idea of like pushing people out of the comfort zone.
Just
so
a little.
Fun. So fun. Okay. So when it comes to marketing, we're going to pivot to your other business.
Yeah.
We have worked together in your marketing. I love your, you just have this creative side to you that I think because of the jewelry, you get to apply to your marketing. Yeah. And it's so fun to see. And you think about things, but with the analytical brain. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to marketing a creative business, what do you think most founders get wrong and how can they shift it? So I know you see this a lot, I'm sure, with your clients of going, I want to market this. We had an experience recently where we were like, okay, I want to market this thing. And you're like, hey, these couple things need to change first before you spend any money on marketing.
Yes. Yeah. The thing that I've had to find is, and I texted you this the other day, I was like, I'm terrible giving feedback. It like makes my armpits sweaty and I'm like, I don't know, I'm really bad at it. But the thing with marketing is it's an amplifier, right? Yeah. So like if at the core, like people have like some of the best ideas, and if it's not perfect, fine-tuned, and sometimes it's like also something I do it all the time for myself. I'm like, it makes sense for me,
right,
but
we think about it 24/7, right?
Exactly. But it's the outside, it's the person on the outside gonna think of it the same way that I am, which is a really tough balance of like getting out of your own head and looking at things from a customer perspective. And so I think that's probably, it's like the clear communication. Like I tell people, I'm like, you need to pretend like you're talking to a fifth grader, 5-year-old, whoever it may be, because if you're not so clear about what you're doing, what you're offering, what your sale is, what your product is, whatever it may be, because again, creatives, we like to make things elaborate and different and fun and whatever, but really simplifying things and then utilizing marketing as your amplifier. Which I've had to get really, find an artful way to tell clients. But,
I mean, it's so interesting. I had an experience and it's so embarrassing to admit this, but it just is such a good reminder because we are in it all the time and we say the same things. It feels like a million times a day and you feel like you're shouting it from the rooftops. Yeah. And I was doing a mapping day. So I had my business coach and I had one of my best friends come because she's really, really good at finances and scaling and growth. But she's in the corporate side of the world. And we were doing a mapping day and I was like, can you look at this and just tell me what you're seeing from the finance side, like what or the scaling side? I'm like, what's like any red flags, any green flags, things we should double down on? And she's like, honestly, I don't exactly know what you do.
Isn't that funny?
And I was like, what?
Stabbed to the heart.
Totally.
Just like,
because it is, you feel like you're so in it and then it's like, oh, I'm trying to complicate. And I think this is what I see over and over again is women especially, is that we see maybe a competitor and we try to be so different and we try to be unique, which is amazing. But we then add just so much shit on top of it to quote unquote be different. When really we just need to get super clear and lean into our superpower, right? Like what's that one thing that makes you different? I don't need 17 things. I need one thing.
Right. Which is funny because I feel like you preach that to us quite a bit. And I always have your little voice in the back of my head being like, one thing, do one thing.
But then
really
I don't do it.
Oh, well, you make us do it. So that's good.
I should listen to my own advice.
That's it.
So good. But it's hard. And I think it's a good reminder, like be simple, be super clear.
Very clear.
And I think in the creative space, like let people, if you're doing it yourself, maybe lean into that creativity a little bit, but also let I love having someone else on the outside be in that marketing role. Yeah. Because it makes you get so clear. Because if they don't know what it is, they can't market it. And so it has to be so clear and simple so that they know what it is, then they can help you market it. Absolutely. And then they can be the creative side of it, adding a little bit of creativity instead of adding 17 piles of shit on top of it to make you feel different, right?
Totally. Yep.
Right. Okay. So how did you find your first customers in both businesses? And what would you do differently if you had to start from scratch today?
Yeah. So it's funny. The marketing agency, I actually it overlapped with the boutique. And I found my first client there on accident. One of the girls who shopped at our store, her dad owned a string of dental offices in like Mesa Gilbert area. And he was like, hey, I like what you're doing with this. Do you do it for other people? And I said, I sure do, even though I
did not.
I did not. And so that was my very first customer, their client, I guess, that I ever had. I was doing some stuff for some dental offices. And then after that, it was honestly going on LinkedIn, going on Indeed, and looking for people that were hiring part-time help and just pitching myself and like finding ways to sell myself as like, hiring a contractor is so much better because you don't have to pay for this. You don't do this. You don't do this. It's less people to manage. It's, cheaper for you with higher caliber people and whatever. So that is kind of how I built that side of the business. That's and then amazing. After like 2-3 years, it was definitely word of mouth. I got roped into a couple really great like consulting companies that just kind of like handed me off clients from them being like, you're kind of pseudo in-house, but also you are managing, the workload on your own, which is great. So like an internal contractor, which was a great way to get a bunch of experience. And then with the jewelry stuff, it was really just my organic audience that I already had. I built a pretty good following on Instagram from when we had the boutique. Okay. And I kind of just maintained it. And so when we first launched, we were just direct to consumer. And I remember throwing this, I decided we were going to start the jewelry line between when we started it or decided we were going to do it. And when we launched, it was like 6 weeks. And I remember putting on Instagram being like, we're having this, this launch party at this place in Old Town. Like, and I remember like just shaking, thinking nobody was going to come. And we had like over 300 people walk through the doors that day, which was awesome. That's amazing. So it was just friends and people and, my sister's friends and my mom's friends and whatever. We had people fly in for it. It was incredible. Wow. But the thing that's been a little bit more tricky is the wholesale side. I had mentioned that, they're just so expensive to go to. And I've had a lot of learning lessons with wholesale this year because everyone wants to take your earrings off of your cards and put them on their own cards. And, they just don't have loyalty as so much so as like a direct to consumer customer has. Right. But going to the wholesale shows and finding really good, strong, big partners in the space has been great for us.
Would you still say that's a really strong leg of your business, the wholesale?
It is. We've actually scaled well. We've purposely tried to take a little bit of a step back from wholesale. So last year we did 9 wholesale shows. Okay. And this year we're only doing 2. Oh, wow. But our numbers are up 25% because I'm like, I want people that are just coming to us because they want to sell Rad Rae, not because they like our jewelry and then you walk into their boutique in Salt Lake City and it's all on their cards. I'm like, that's my design that you're taking credit for now. Like, I need to have Sarah write me something for seriously. That. But so we've really like leaned into some of our bigger partners that we have, doing drop ship and really nurturing and loving on the ones that want to carry our brand. And now I'm not in a million different cities every other day spending all this crazy money to go,
which probably feels nice to streamline that a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so would you say, because we've been talking about personal branding a lot in Foundress, would you say that that personal brand kind of helped you carry that audience from your boutique to Rad Rae?
1,000%. Yeah. And I feel like it's always funny because you have like 2 separate accounts, right? Even with you, I'm sure with like your personal account and the Foundress too. Like I want to showcase who I am on both sides. And I remember meeting with a marketing consultant who does stuff for LVMH before I started Rad Rae. And she was like, well, if you want to sell eventually, they have to be completely separate. And I was like, for a while, I was like that. I'm like, no, like people are coming. It's my brand. People are coming because they like the way I style things. It's all from here. And so you need to treat them like they are a friend, like they are a family member, a sister, whoever it may be. And I've had some amazing customers turn into some of my best friends through the process. Every time I'm working the showroom, people are like, let's go get margaritas after this. Let's do it. And it's a blast for me. Yeah. And I feel like when you have that personal touch and that personal connection to your brand, it just makes you so much more valuable. People care. People like want to share and tell their friends and all
Do you see a crossover of like marketing clients and Rad Rae clients because of like the way you show up in both instances?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I would say definitely more marketing clients becoming fans of the brand. But yeah, for sure. I have a marketing client that I still work with to this day, who I have worked with for, probably 8 years now. And he is also a musician on the side. We did a big collab last year with like his music and our jewelry. And it was like so much fun. But yeah, we see it all the time.
So fun. Yeah. I love it. Okay, so what is one mindset shift that has helped you go from the hobbyist to a freelancer to a full-on business owner in your jewelry business?
What? Sorry, say the question.
So what's a one mindset shift? So obviously you went to school, you fell in love with it. Yeah. You kind of threw together a boutique in college, right? But like what made you really want to take this and to that next step and scale it?
Yeah. So I think the biggest driver of me wanting to switch careers was one, just being so burnt out. I think I still have the marketing agency, obviously, but we've got 8 clients now, and I had like 65 when I, put things on pause and started Rad Rae. Was like wanting to do something for myself. But again, that was like a selfish reason. I wanted the creativity, I wanted the outlet. It was something fun that I was doing. But honestly, I think finances was the biggest thing that I really had to dive into. Kelly Kussman from Coley has helped me a ton with that, because she is such a finance nerd and so good with numbers. But that it still is probably the scariest part of my business, and something that I think about all the time and keeps me up 24/7 and all of that kind of stuff. But I think that knowing that, if you want to scale a business to whatever your magical number is, $100 million, $10 million, $1 million a year, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Yeah. And that's okay.
Ouch, right?
Yes. Ouch. Yes.
Okay. So what is something that community has taught you in building both of your businesses?
Yeah.
Or something that really has affected you in the good way?
Yeah.
Through that community.
Yeah. Community is everything. And I'm a true believer. When we had the boutique, or I was a manager at Nordstrom for a while, and like, the people who are talking to your customer are the most important people on your team. It's not my husband who's running the finances. It's not me if I'm not there, whatever. Like, the people who are talking to your community are the most important people on your team, because that is like the people who will root for you, who will cheer for you, who will share you, who will show up for you. Yeah. And so I'm a true believer that we treat everybody who walks into our doors, or, comes into or orders something online, like we treat them like a true sister, a best friend, whatever it may be. One, you never know what people are going through. I think it's so important to show up for people personally, from a customer service perspective. But that is golden for us. And even the founders community has been huge for us. And people, even if people have been in business for 15, 20 years, I'm like, you need to walk into that room, because nobody will support you like those women in that room. And it's so true.
It's so true. It is fun walking in there and being like, oh, we all have the same necklace on today. That's so fun.
There literally is like a foundress necklace that is like the gold toggle.
I almost wore it today.
Everybody,
I went with the Louis Vuitton one instead.
Something a little fancier. But I feel like I can walk around and count on all 10 fingers and toes about how many people are wearing that necklace in that room.
I love it so much. Okay, so what would you've obviously balanced a product-based business, a service-based business. What is one thing you wish you would have known when you started both businesses?
Both businesses. Oh gosh, honestly, nothing. I really think that there is a level of naivety that is a huge blessing. And I tell myself and my husband and my sister, who's thinking about switching careers right now, like, if I knew what I knew now, I don't know if I would have started. And so
that's
nothing.
Relatable.
Nothing.
How many of you feel that?
Right, exactly.
We're like, yes.
Right? Yeah. Because if I truly don't think I would have started the joy, and I'm so glad I did. Yeah. But I truly don't think I would have started if I would have known how hard it was going to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
And okay, so economy is a little interesting right now.
It's very interesting, yeah.
You're navigating that, which is a lot.
It's a lot.
I think service-based business has been a little different. Product-based business, you're dealing with different things that are new for you. Yeah. What is one piece of advice for someone maybe who has a product-based business that's looking at this economy going, is this the right time? Should I quit? Yeah. Should I keep going?
Totally. Yeah. I started my business like kind of right after COVID-ish, so there was still that kind of like influx of, it wasn't as crazy as like during the COVID times when everybody's businesses were like tripling, quadrupling, and things like that. But we still felt some of that, right? And we've definitely seen a little bit of we're not growing at the same percentage as we were, the first year or two. But I would tell people it's okay to start small. We launched with, I think, 24 pieces. Okay. And we were like maybe 4 or 5 units deep in each piece. So like, it's okay to start small. Yeah. Really do a lot of customer or like client feedback, whether it's just like your friends, your family, throw something out on Instagram, a little poll, which we do a lot now, because you don't know, like obviously when you're in the day-to-day and people tell you, oh, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. Yeah. But what are the masses saying? I think really lean into that. And I would say get really, really clear on your branding, how you're going to market, what your content's going to look like. And again, that's why, we've always treated all of our customers like gold, but in this economy, you have to. Like, if they don't feel loved and seen and not just feel like they are being shouted at with sale, buy this, new drop, whatever it may be, it's going to be exhausting for them. So find ways that you can, be relatable outside of the product that you're selling. We started 2 Fridays every month. We do this thing called the Rad Rae Rundown. And it's just like an email that is like things that we're loving, that are trends, that are, there's like quotes in there, books to read, podcasts to listen to, events going on, other women to support. That's just like, here's cool stuff just to make you feel like pretty to look at and all that kind of stuff. We're not asking you to buy anything.
Right.
So I think you have to get really, really creative. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. And you know that my favorite saying is tits up.
Tits up.
I have it tattooed on my arm.
You do.
What is a tits up moment that you're feeling right now? What's making you feel really confident, really proud of yourself?
Yeah. I would say this has been, we've been working with this company for Rad Rae for a little over a year now, but it really like kind of hit me the other day because we were in one of their emails. There's this company brand called Eloquy, which is like, they were kind of the first ones to do like mid-size to plus size clothing. They're like size 10 to 24 or something like that. Okay. And I remember shopping with them. My husband and I moved to DC for a couple of years, and I had started the marketing agency, really kind of grew it there. And I remember being like, I'm a size 14. There's like not a ton of like place for me to like shop in person, but I need this like elevated wardrobe. And I went to Eloquy, and that's where I bought all of my like professional wear and blazers and stuff that still felt cute and edgy, but like just I felt good in. And we met them on a whim through LinkedIn and through like a wholesale show that we did in New York last year. And we were their very first jewelry brand that they ever brought on. That's amazing. And we've been with them for a little over a year, but we were in an email this morning that like had like a whole spotlight on us. That's and awesome. They want to do some more content with us and things like that. And that was just like oh my gosh, if you would have told me, I mean, they do, I don't know, $600 million a year in sales. Wow. If you would have told me that we would have been like, they have other jewelry on their site now, but like their first jewelry partner ever, like it was a very much of a full circle moment for me, and it's still kind of like a pinch me, and it's like something that I always go back to when I'm having a bad day. I'll like go on their website and just see all of our stuff. It's just that's awesome. So fun. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming today and this conversation. I love getting to know you and hearing about your growing your businesses, and you are a light, and keep doing the work.
Thank you. You're the best. Thanks for having me.
You're the best. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If this spoke to you, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a conversation. You've got this. Stay clear, stay grounded, and stay true to what you're building. Until next time, tits up.